Welcome back, guys. So, Mr. Midnight has not returned. So, I will be hosting this video. He will be back soon. Do not worry. So, today we will be talking about, I will share with you two stories about Jinn. Now, the Jinn is an Arabic word that literally means to hide. Jinn are supernatural creatures found in Islamic and Arabic writings, particularly the Quran. The Quran says that the jinn were created from a smokeless and scorching fire, separately from humans or angels. However, they can appear in human or animal forms to interact with people. From the word jinn, we get our English word genie, defined as a spirit in human form who grants wishes. So this is what a jinn is. Now let's get into two stories about them. I live in northern Iraq. I have seen many things. Before I go any further, I should describe myself a bit. I was born in the States and I was raised around people who believe that we are not alone in this universe. I believe that children hold a certain type of intuition that many of us have either lost or chosen to ignore. When I was 17, we visited my father's family in a village in northern Iraq. It was during this visit that my view on life changed forever. In the summer of 2009, my family traveled to Iraq quite a few years after the war was over. My father hadn't seen his side of the family in over 20 years and figured it was the perfect time for us to meet them and learn about our culture. Iraq back in 2009 was just as terrible as you could imagine it'd be. Hot, no electricity, terror groups running around. But I was excited to explore such an ancient country. Dark history has always fascinated me. One night, my entire family had walked 2 blocks down to visit my cousin at her house. I said I would meet them up because I was still getting ready. When I was done, I took 2 of my boy cousins with me. One was 4 years old and the other was barely 2, so I had to carry him. Exactly behind our house is an abandoned house the residents of the village refer to as the Jinn house. Jinn in Arabic means genie, but not the one that grants wishes. Jinns are almost always bad and do terrible things to scare and harm people. The story behind this house is that multiple families had tried to move into the house, but were either scared out of the house or a tragedy would occur that would make them move out. The last tenants of the house suffered a lot. At first, it was just silly things like waking up with the TV upside down. Then every morning, most of their furniture would be outside of the house. The younger son began sleepwalking, and my own cousins have seen him sleepwalking to the cemetery and back at night. One night, the boy was sleepwalking, picked up a gun and killed one of his sisters. The house caught on fire and the family had to run out. The boy doesn't remember anything and the remaining sister is now medically insane. Anyway, I took the 2 boys and started walking past the Jinn house because it was the only way I knew to get to my cousin's house. The 2-year-old was in my arms and the 4-year-old was holding my left hand and walking with me. Walking past the gin house, which was on my left, I tried not to look at it because it really freaked me out. There were a bunch of broken TV sets all around the house, and all the windows were busted, but something made me look. On the roof of the house, I saw something that could only be explained as having the body of a donkey, but the way it was sitting looked exactly how a cat would sit. I stared at it for probably 10 seconds when both of the little boys started to scream at the same time. The 2-year-old was facing behind me since I was holding him up on my chest, so there was no way he saw what I was seeing. I felt as though he sensed something was not right. The longer I looked at the thing, I began to notice that it had these eyes that were not any color I could explain. They weren't visible in the dark, but at the same time, I saw right into them. It was like my brain couldn't process what I was looking at. It started to stand up, and that's when I picked up the 4-year-old, who was screaming bloody murder, and ran as fast as I could away from that thing. I didn't tell any of my family about what happened because I didn't want to remember what I saw or let my brain process the memory anymore that I already had. I know what I saw, and I feel like it's something above human understanding. Whatever I saw that day, I know that in the moment of looking at it, it was shifting its form. It was not solid like you and me. Its shape was constantly changing while remaining the same. It didn't have to show itself in its entirety for me to see what it was. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I truly believe I saw something that is not from this world. And that's why I had trouble understanding what I was seeing. It's been 6 years since then, and I ended up moving to Iraq the year after this happened. I've gone back to the house multiple times, but I haven't seen the figure since that day. I still feel your presence, even though it's been abandoned for years. I've seen some really weird things here, and I don't have logical explanations for anything I've seen so far. Edit. I have uploaded a picture I took of the house back in 2010 on an old crappy phone camera, and here it is. A Jinn possession in Erbil. This happened to my best friend's aunt, and I have met the aunt on a few occasions, for the record. I do not believe she has any mental issues such as schizophrenia, but I'm also not a psychiatrist. My best friend started by telling me that Sarah was once possessed by a jinn, and they had tried many things to rid her of the jinn, but nothing was working until they met with a mullah, a Muslim priest, who helped the aunt through painful exorcisms which lasted about 5 months. When it all started, Sarah started to act different slowly. First, he was randomly insulting Allah and the Prophet, and refusing to pray when she was religious before. Then it became worse when she would start to hurt her children, and then cry about it a few minutes later, saying that there is something inside of her. Her hair started falling out, and when she touched the Quran, she would begin screaming. She would go missing for days, and when they asked her where she was, she couldn't answer them. And it had happened in front of my friend's eyes a few times, that burn marks would appear randomly on her skin with the word disbeliever, as if someone was burning her from the inside. They ended up calling a mullah because medicine and psychiatrists had no idea what was wrong. and the mullah put her into a sort of trance to discover that she was in fact possessed by a jinn. He asked the jinn to leave her, but he said that he could not because he was being controlled by a more powerful jinn, the one who the curse called upon. He told the family that in the jinn world, lesser jinn are controlled by more powerful ones. Usually, the lesser jinn are nicer and will not hurt people unless they are controlled by another jinn who they fear. In Sarah's case, she was being controlled by two jinn, lesser and greater. After a month or so, the mullah was able to convert the lesser jinn to Islam by saying that what he's doing to this woman is wrong and he will be punished. And so once the lesser jinn let go of his control on the ant, the more powerful one emerged and appeared to be entertained. Once the trance had ended, Sarah was just laughing and laughing until she spoke with a very deep voice none of them ever heard before. He told the mullah that he will not leave Sarah and that he doesn't fear God or bargain with humans. And it was this jinn who had told him how she was cursed. Of course, no one believed it, but because it seemed a bit crazy that this thing would admit how it possessed her. It said that Sarah was cursed by a woman who lived in the apartment below them, most likely out of jealousy because the aunt is wealthy. The curse had been placed inside of a favorite dress, and each time she would wear the dress, the curse would repeat and become stronger. And the mullah proved it to be true. In Islam, the most haram, forbidden thing we can do is write the Quran backwards. The mullah made Sarah eat dates and yogurt, which are considered pure food in Islam, because our Prophet would break his fast with these foods. She couldn't stomach the food and would end up throwing up pieces of paper. After a week, the mullah put all of the paper together to reveal a few verses of the Quran that were written backwards. Once all the paper had been expelled from her body, she went back to normal almost instantly. But she has no memory of what happened during those months, and all the burns on her body disappeared. The woman who lived below them moved houses while the mullah was performing exorcisms, and Sarah has since thrown the dress away. She hasn't had any outbursts since seeing the mullah, so almost all of us believe that she truly was possessed. And now I will be mentioning the author. It was actually the same author who wrote both stories. The first one that I read was I live in northern Iraq, I have seen many things. And the second was a jinn possession in Urban. Both were by Honey Lotus, and both of them were very scary and creepy, because the concept of jinn, I think, explains a lot of the supernatural things we see, like possession, shadow people, things changing form, skinwalkers, Wendigos. Maybe they are the same thing, but in different cultures we call them different things. So Native Americans call them skinwalkers or Wendigos, but Muslims or Islam calls them jinns. They can shapeshift and they can possess people. So I think this is one thing that is similar, that I feel like that all religions or all people have a name for these beings that are scary and they shapeshift. That's the thing that's in common between skinwalkers and jinn, I guess. But I would like to mention one thing, that you shouldn't be scared of these things that are out there in the dark. Yes, my channel is focused on scaring you guys, I know, but the more you are scared of them, the more they can use that against you. That's why it's very important that you take everything, all these stories with a pinch of salt, and also you do not be scared of them, because in the end, what are they? they are animals, they are creatures. That's what they are. They're just like me and you, just they have different they have different powers. Think of them like um superheroes, not even superheroes, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so don't get scared of them, because if you get scared of them, they will use that against you, and they are everywhere, everywhere. Okay, so that's enough of that. If you want me to make a video on the Jinn, I guess the world of the Jinn, I can. I'm an expert, I guess, kind of. But okay, but I rate this. This is a very good story. I enjoyed reading it. It's a 10 out of 10. I actually, one of my favorite YouTubers, Lazy Masquerade, read these stories, and I remember them because I'm reading them the same way as he did, and I really love the way he narrated them. So I guess I'm following in his footsteps. Thank you all for listening. Mr. Midnight will be here soon, I'm sure. Take care, and make sure you like and subscribe. Bye.